Today we've got a great malicious compliance story involving trespassing and cops. We'll get into that in a bit, but first, you want to know where I am at all times? Your wish is my command. This happened about 8 years ago, 1 year into my first job / paid internship / clerking gig, I don't know what to call it. The firm that I worked for had a part-time program for law students so they could work and gain experience while in school. Very common in my country. I loved my job. I was very grateful for the opportunity to learn and grow, and I really enjoyed the work I performed. The thing was, I had classes both in the morning and the afternoon / night, and my school was at a different side of the city, about 8 miles away that could turn into hours of traffic during rush hour in a city with 8 million inhabitants. So my days looked pretty hectic, as something like this. 5:30 to 7, get ready and drive to school. 7 to 9, class. 9 to 10ish, drive to work. 10 to 5 p.m., work. 5 to 6, drive to school. 6 to 10, classes. Then I would try to study for 1 hour after class, and I would often eat while driving. During my first year in the program, I had more than proved myself and earned my place. I was that 19 or 20-year-old idiot, type A overachiever that knew no boundaries. I had worked weekends, pulled all-nighters. Literally, I would leave school at 10 freaking p.m. and go back to work, worked full-time in the summers without more pay, anything I had to do to keep the associates happy so they'd keep teaching me. As I started wrapping my first anniversary there, the perfect storm of awful rolled around. On the academic front, I started a new semester, and twice a week in the mornings, I had a teacher who was awesome but would finish class 20 to 30 minutes late. On the work front, a new partner joined the firm. Let's call him Mr. Jerk, AH for short, and kind of took over as unofficial managing partner. He was the typical old-fashioned lawyer that should be extinct by now. He could barely use Microsoft Word to type a contract and would pass out at the sight of an Excel sheet. He had this weird obsession with punctuality while simultaneously being late to everything. Plus, he moronically believed that by having a bunch of people warming up chairs, he would magically make money. So instead of investing time on client development, he would just spend endless time and effort on bullying everyone around the office. To make matters worse, since other people spoke highly of me, he decided to pay special attention to me. Unsurprisingly, shortly after the jerk joined, the firm started struggling. Now, he could have tried to get new clients, send quotes by the deadline, and show up to meetings on time, but no. Of course, the firm was doing poorly because us clerks did not spend enough time warming up the chairs, so he became obsessed with us getting there by 10 a.m., especially me. The issue was that I couldn't get there by 10 because my teacher finished class late, and there was no way I could drive across the city in rush hour in 30 minutes. So Jerk called a meeting with all the clerks and yelled at me in front of everyone because I was always late. More like 2 times a week, but whatever. The fact that I'd gotten permission from the program committee didn't matter. The fact that I was working 6 or 7 hours every day while I only had to work 5 did not matter. The fact that I would work weekends and late nights did not matter. I tried to explain, but he'll keep yelling at me and wouldn't let me talk. Having had enough, I left the conference room straight into the office of every member of the clerk program committee, 1 junior associate, 1 senior associate, and 1 partner, to say the same speech. I am late because I have class. I have proven my commitment to the firm, but my education is important too. If 30 minutes late twice a week is too big of an issue, feel free to fire me, but I am not leaving class early. Then went to my desk to do my work. I guess the committee informed other partners and word got around of what was going on, small firm, because as I was getting ready to leave for school, Jerk came fuming to my desk and told me, "I know you're lying. From now on, I want to know where you are at all times. And if I catch that you are slacking off or lying, you're fired and I'll make sure no one will ever hire you." So cue malicious compliance. The next day, I woke up extra early, 5 a.m. sharp, took a time-stamped photo and sent it both to his email and phone. Since I could not risk him not getting it and him not knowing where I was, I sent a time-stamped photo every 5 minutes captioning what I was doing, like it was my own personal social media platform of 1 follower. The cherry on top was that my teacher had worked with Jerk in the past and obviously didn't like him very much, so he let me take photos during the class and diligently send them to Jerk. I even went as far as taking a photo of the toilet door with the text, peeing, and then at the toilet flushing. All done. While driving, since traffic was really slow, I would send a photo and include how much I'd moved during that time. Sometimes it was something absurd like 100 feet. As soon as I sent a photo of me at my desk, he shows up saying that he got the point and I could stop. A couple weeks later, he simply stopped bugging people and started working from home, or locking himself up in his office. My guess is I was not the only one to complain, and the other partner realized how dangerous he could be for the firm and asked him to back off. Well, I'm certainly glad that OP's gamble worked out on the first try here, because I can't imagine trying to take these photos every so often while in class would be too conducive to actually learning anything during that class period. Also, hi, I'm Steven, and if you enjoy awesome stories of malicious compliance, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? That said, our next story is, oh, so we're now making new policies to not pay me properly? So quick backstory and apologies in advance for the long story, but I'm very thorough. A little over a year ago, I did a major career change going from working in healthcare for over 10 years to finance. The idea of making my own hours plus still being able to help people on an individual basis really appealed to me. Plus, this company offers a pension, which is rare these days apparently. I started back in April 2022 and never had any issues with the company in terms of getting the right commission for sales or pay until March 2023. I submitted 2 policies for 2 different clients, and based on what is written in terms of the pay policy, the commission will be quite high. I was thrilled because I recently lost my salary position, and I was currently on straight commission with my paycheck being what it was in my fund, which as a new sales rep for the first year really isn't much. The big plus was the catch-up payout that I was set to get for hitting my previous quarter incentive, and the current one, which was approximately $6,500. Sounds great, right? Wrong. I get paid less than half of the amount for one and less than a third for the other one. I was livid. I went back to look over their compensation plan with a fine-tooth comb and located the answer to what I should be getting versus what I received. They have it broken down on how the payments are, and underneath the pay chart, it has it clearly written that first policy year commissions will be paid on the first policy year's target premium, regardless of when some premium is actually paid. I don't know how much more straightforward it could be written. I submitted a dispute with the proof that I was not paid accurately and requested that the missing amount be paid, which is approximately $3,000 currently. And this is where it goes crap hits the fan. They denied it in less than 30 minutes. How? Did they even look through what I submitted with the math showing the discrepancies? So I submitted an appeals claim with the help of my agency manager again, but this time for the appeals, my divisional VP has to approve it prior to sending it off to the appeals committee. After we sent over to him, I began having issues occurring on a weekly basis. We get weekly registers and statements to show our compensation amounts, and I was getting error after error. Each one I was getting on Tuesdays. I would reach out to dispute or question them on why this happened, and I would get, oh, that was a mistake, we'll get it fixed for the next register, and so on. Mind you, this is all happening the last few weeks of me hitting that incentive to get a catch-up bonus as well. One time they pulled back the entire commission of that second policy, and I was paid a third only, leaving my commission for that sale a big fat 0 earned. And stated that it was because I was replacing their old policy. What? How can you justify the amount of time and work put in to get something placed for a client to not only underpay me, but then pull back the exact amount that I earned? Guess when they happened to pull back that commission? Yep, the final week where I was going to hit my goal to get my catch up. How convenient, right? So when my staff manager and I questioned them about it, they admitted that they made an error and will correct it, but instead of adding it back to the previous quarter, they added to the new one. What the freak? At this point, it's been almost 6 weeks when I submitted my appeal and still haven't heard anything from my agency manager or the appeals committee, so I sent an email inquiring about it. Compensation never received the form from my divisional VP. This jerk of a VP, nobody likes him in the entire division, never forwarded and told my AM that I would have to make some changes to my old claim, since it doesn't make any sense with what I submitted. Mind you, this jerk also started calling me by a different name, even though up until this process started, he never had issues addressing me with my actual name. Prior to this response, I was on the fence about filing a claim with the Department of Labor in my state against them. I even went as far as contacting 2 different lawyers and explained my situation to see if I had any merit to do so. Both stated that if I have proof on what I should have been paid per their own policy and what I received, they said go for it. So after getting that answer from the divisional VP, I filed it. And technically, I don't have to notify them, but I wanted to see if they would cave at all, seeing that they don't have the proof to back up their reasoning for the short pay. I even filed a claim with the Department of Human Rights against that VP, and convenient timing, of all the errors that have occurred. I did ask my appeals manager to let the VP know that I filed a claim, to still be professional and courteous about it, and hoping that going so far would make them realize how serious I was with getting my correct pay, and settle it before an investigation gets assigned. And the response received from the VP was, oh dear, now legal has to get involved, and probably thinks I'm bluffing. I began looking for work while waiting for a response from the state, and I'm still working there, but this new company that I'm getting established with already is 100% better. All of my clients that were either denied for the dumbest of reasons, or if they refused the policy because it got rated and it caused their premium to go sky high, so I started writing them with my new company while still working at the old one, and having been writing all of my new business with them just to get by. I plan on staying until I get my money back, and then I'll leave because I'll be quite set with this new one hopefully, and only because I went through everything that in savings already. So my $200 paycheck every 2 weeks is not survivable at all. I keep checking for updates on my claim and end up coming across additional information that it's accurate. My jerk company would also owe me a huge back pay for not paying the minimum wage, since I lost my salary and I'm only getting commissions, which is nowhere close to the minimum wage. So the employer is supposed to pay the difference that I would be short as well, and changes the total amount owed from just under $10,000 to around $16,000 instead. Guess we shall see how this pans out. I mean, based on what OP described here, I feel like their case has to be a slam dunk. I mean, they got cheated out of this stuff. I don't know if there's some kind of advanced legalese in this contract that enables them to just not pay you these commissions you earned, or, not pay you minimum wage. But I would think that they're gonna get cracked down upon pretty hard. I just hope that they actually are able to pay OP back, rather than folding and disappearing into the night. This next story is, cop says I'm trespassed unless I get their permission again, so I oblige. So I was at this hotel lobby, sitting there waiting to go to a restaurant. All of a sudden, 2 cops show up asking me for ID, then tell me I have to leave as a lady had complained that she didn't feel comfortable with me there. It was a total Karen call. One cop was kinda a jerk too. He tells me I gotta leave until they let me back. They stare at me as I walk to my car. Not sure what it was. I was wearing a political slogan shirt, but nothing vulgar. I call the hotel later and ask to speak with the manager, who then explains some guest had called, and she was kinda a Karen, so they wanted to make her happy. The manager said I'm welcome to come back to the property. I was reluctant to give them business again, but I couldn't let the cops or the Karen win. I go back to the hotel and sit at the restaurant. I call the police department and inform them I got permission to return. The dispatcher is aggravated and said he's required to send an officer to check. The same cop who was there earlier returns and gives me the evil look. He goes to the front desk, speaks to the manager, who waves me to the front. The cop pulls out a form that he has to fill out, and the manager refuses it and signs it. It was a trespass removal form. Both seemed very annoyed to have to go through the process, but it's the law. The cop storms out aggravated as I smile and say, "Enjoy the day." The manager of the restaurant gives me a sort of smile and says I didn't have to call the cops back, as it was just extra paperwork, but I wanted to comply with the policies. I think I may have saw the Karen walk out giving me a mean look as I was in the restaurant. I enjoyed the rest of my meal. Clarifying info, Karen called the cops to the hotel, not the hotel staff. Hotel staff gave in to Karen's demands since Karen was a guest with a room and I was just a restaurant patron. After I called and escalated to a manager, then the manager backpedaled. Cops seem to come quick when things are slow when it's a non-emergency situation. Everything's okay. I probably could have been sued, but since the hotel removed the trespass, they, quote, fixed the situation. Maybe if I didn't go back and then sued, it would be different. The greatest move here would have been to go back, have them go through that whole process, tip your hat, say good day, and just turn around and leave into the sunset. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another awesome malicious compliance story, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.